For decades, you were told human evolution marched in a straight line, chimp to man, progress inevitable. Hidden in the DNA of millions of living people is evidence of a lost species that rewrites this story entirely. Scientists have uncovered genetic scars from an ancestor with no bones, no tools, and no name, just the buried code of a vanished human. How did this mysterious ghost species end up inside us? The answer shatters everything you think you know about where we come from. The image is burned into memory, a neat parade of figures, each one a little taller and straighter than the last, marching from ape to modern human. For generations, this was the story told in classrooms, museums, and textbooks, a single file of progress, each step replacing the one before. The March of Progress illustration, first published in 1965, became the unofficial logo of human evolution. Its influence stretched far beyond science, shaping how millions imagined their own origins. But the simplicity of that ladder hid a deeper truth. Human evolution was never a one-way street. Fossils and bones hinted at dead ends and side branches, but the tidy image of progress held firm. It was comforting, clean, and easy to explain. Yet beneath that surface, the real story was tangled. New discoveries began to pile up: Neanderthals in Europe, Denisovans in Asia, and hints of even stranger cousins with no names at all. Genetic evidence revealed that our ancestors did not just outcompete other humans, they met them, lived with them, and had children together. The straight line began to unravel. Instead, our past looks more like a braided stream, with currents splitting, rejoining, and sometimes disappearing without a trace. The idea of a single, pure lineage no longer fits the facts. The reality is messier, more intertwined, and far more mysterious. The question now is not whether we carry the legacy of other humans, but how many lost branches flow through the blood of everyone alive today. Every drop of human blood carries a record of ancient encounters. When two different human groups met, whether by chance, by conquest, or by necessity, genes flowed from one to the other, leaving signatures that last for thousands of generations. This process has a name: introgression. It means the mixing of genes from one species or population into another through repeated interbreeding. Introgression is not a rare accident in our story. It is a fundamental force that shaped who we are. The evidence is written into our DNA, in patterns that do not fit a simple family tree. Instead, they reveal a web of connections, some obvious and others almost invisible. Modern humans are not the product of a single pure line. We are composites, hybrids built from the genetic fragments of lost relatives. Some of those relatives have names like Neanderthals and Denisovans. Others are known only by the traces they left behind, their identities erased by time. Yet their genes persist, scattered through our chromosomes, influencing everything from our immune systems to our brains. The mystery is not whether these ghostly ancestors exist, but how many of their secrets remain hidden in our genomes. If our DNA is a palimpsest, overwritten again and again, what stories are buried in the oldest layers? What unknown faces stare back at us from the code itself? The search for answers begins not in bones or stones, but in the tangled sequences inside living people, waiting for someone to decode the message. In 2020, a team led by Arun Durvasula and Sriram Sankararaman set out to answer a simple question: what hidden histories might be written in the genomes of living people? They gathered hundreds of DNA samples from Yoruba and Mende communities in West Africa, populations with deep roots stretching back tens of thousands of years. Using cutting-edge statistical models, the researchers combed through billions of genetic letters, searching for patterns that did not fit with any known branch of the human family tree. The computer analysis was relentless, passing noise for signal until a pattern emerged that could not be explained by known ancestors. What they found was impossible to ignore. Large blocks of DNA in these West African genomes stubbornly resisted classification. They did not match the genetic signatures of modern humans, Neanderthals, or Denisovans. Instead, these segments pointed to a mysterious source, an unknown hominin long vanished from the fossil record. The evidence pointed to a true ghost lineage. In some individuals, up to 19% of the genome bore the mark of this archaic ancestor. On average, about 8% of the DNA in these populations came from this ghost lineage. There were no bones, no tools, no artifacts, just the silent imprint of ancient interbreeding, preserved in the code of living people. The statistical signal was clear. At some point in the distant past, a population of modern humans in West Africa encountered and mixed with a group so deeply divergent that their DNA stands apart from every other known human lineage. The only evidence of their existence is the genetic scar they left behind, a permanent record in the chromosomes of their descendants. The ghost lineage uncovered in West African genomes is not just another branch of the family tree. It is something far older, far stranger, a super-archaic ancestor whose roots reach deeper than Neanderthals or Denisovans. Genetic analysis places its split from the line leading to modern humans at least 625,000 years ago. That means this population was already evolving on its own when the ancestors of Neanderthals and Homo sapiens were still one and the same. For perspective, that is nearly twice as ancient as the divergence between us and Neanderthals. Yet this super-archaic group did not vanish quietly into prehistory. Long after their split, they survived in Africa, living parallel to early modern humans. At some point, perhaps 43,000 years ago, maybe even more recently, they met and bred with our ancestors. The result was not a simple blending. Instead, their DNA was absorbed piece by piece into the genomes of those who had become the Yoruba and Mende. Up to 19% of the DNA in some individuals comes from this lost population. On average, it is about 8%, a genetic inheritance from a vanished civilization that left no bones, no tools, no artifacts. This is not a story of peaceful coexistence. It is a record of genetic consumption. Homo sapiens did not simply replace the other humans they encountered, they absorbed them, dissolving their genomes into our own. The evidence is chilling. A super-archaic species erased from the world, but still alive inside our cells. The fossil record is silent, but the genome remembers. And what it remembers is a history far more alien and far more haunted than anyone imagined. Aaron de Vassila, a computational geneticist, sat in front of a wall of code watching the data stream in. The team's algorithms were trained to spot genetic patterns that did not belong, haplotypes so foreign they looked like static in the sequence. Billions of DNA letters from Yoruba and Mende genomes passed through statistical filters, each one compared against every known branch of the human family. The computers flagged clusters of mutations that no human eye had ever noticed before. These segments did not match Neanderthals, Denisovans, or any modern population. They were outliers, alien signatures, too ancient and too distinct to be explained by ordinary variation. To rule out mistakes, the models ran hundreds of simulations, testing every alternative, incomplete lineage sorting, hidden modern diversity, even contamination. Each time, the ghost segments held firm. The evidence was locked in the code, impossible to dismiss or explain away. For those who study ancient DNA, the discovery of ghost ancestry in modern Africans is not just a scientific puzzle, it is a responsibility. As one African genomics advocate puts it, every living person is a walking museum, carrying fragments of lost worlds. But in Africa, the stakes are even higher. The continent holds the richest, most diverse genetic archive on Earth, yet for too long, research has been led from afar, with little say from those whose genomes hold the answers. The future of paleogenomics depends on a new kind of partnership, one built on respect, consent, and shared benefit. Data sovereignty is not a slogan. It is a promise that the story of our origins will be told with, not just about, the people whose DNA preserves it. The ghost lineage is not just a relic of the past. It is a call to honor the living custodians of our most ancient heritage. Every human alive today carries echoes of vanished species. This is proof that our story is never as simple as we imagine. As AI uncovers more hidden ancestry, the definition of us keeps expanding. We are living evidence that extinction does not erase, it transforms. What does your DNA remember?